everyone, welcome to Live and Live Vita Local Podcast, a retro gaming podcast for some of your retro gaming needs. My name is Fazz.
And I'm Rich.
And we are here to do free. You know, sometimes when you get your syllables in your mouth wrong, free play fortnightly.
Nice.
Nailed it.
Yep.
And that means that we've both played a game. We've kept it secret from each other. We're going to review said game, and once we've reviewed said game, our partner in crime, our co-host, will score based on that review. I'm really excited about mine this week. Mm-hmm. Not necessarily because of the game, but because I think it's going to be a bastard to score with what I've got to say about it.
Right. Okay.
I've got a couple of giants to slay with it. So should we just get straight into them?
Yeah.
Fuck it. Let's not do any nice namby-pamby bullshit talk. Let's just talk video games. Rochambeau.
Yeah. All right.
We haven't done this for a few weeks, months. I love it. Right, okay. 1, 2, 3, go. Rock, paper, scissors, so that means I go first. Okay, cool. Right, so I have played Shadow of the Colossus.
Oh, very nice.
Have you played Shadow of the Colossus?
I have indeed.
Okay, good. Which version of Shadow of the Colossus have you played?
I was playing it on my PS4, I believe.
Excellent. Okay, so there are many versions, it seems, or at least it feels like many versions of Shadow of the Colossus. So it was developed 20 years ago. It came out on the PS2, very first version. So developed by Sony Studio Japan, the people who also made Ico and this and The Last Guardian. It's a pretty big deal, I think. A lot of people know. I don't need to give you all the bullshit history of it or anything. But the interesting part is that it was remastered in 2011 by Blue Point Games, and I've got that version actually. I've got the PS3 version of Ico and this the HD remaster. And then it was remade again, as an actual remake in 2018, again by Blue Point Games for the PS4.
I'm glad I didn't make that up.
No, you're good. You're okay.
Excellent.
So it's just interesting that Blue Point seem to be the remaster people for Sony
go to all the time.
Yeah, so they did, and something we hopefully will do coming up is the God of War collection for the Vita. I think we're going to do that between us, and they did that as well. So it's just kind of their jam, really.
I nearly said, did they do the Metal Gear Solid collection Vita? I don't know.
Surely
Konami. I don't know. I genuinely don't know.
But they have done quite a few, sort of, anyway. So
the worst bit is I could Google it. My phone is in arm's reach, and I can't be bothered.
Don't worry about that. It's not worth people's time. It is interesting how much debate this game inspires about literally everything online. But I would say nearly all of the debates are general critical acclaim, basically. That is in it's absolute critical darling, and also would it be? I don't know. Like, it seems to be a lot of people's a game that really affects them and makes them think that that this is one of the most important games they've ever played. So I'd say most of the things that people inverted commas kind of argue about really is the best version to play. And that kind of comes down to gameplay and vibe, apparently. That is that the PS2 kind of has a bit more of because it was more difficult to generate the world in PS2, there's more of a gloomy, misty feel around all the areas. So a lot of people say that really lends to the vibe of the game. Whereas the gameplay for the PS3 version, so a lot of people I think say that the PS3 version feels like a really good version because it gives you all the vibe of the PS2 version, but a bit better gameplay. But then a lot of people say that the PS4 version, gameplay wise, is much better. So I have played the PS4 version. I could have played the PS3 version. The reason I looked into this was because I was like, which one should I play out of the PS3, PS4? Ended up opting for the PS4 one. So What are your general thoughts then? Are they along the similar sort of lines as that? Or?
I enjoyed my time with it. I do wonder if perhaps some of the emotional heft of the story is possibly not quite landing as it did when it first came out.
Okay.
But it's still a great game, and still definitely one that if you are that way inclined, I would probably not have many qualms recommending to people by and large.
Yeah.
Definitely enjoyed my time with it.
I think that you're right to question whether it's the same as what it once was, but it is interesting that it's came out for 3 PlayStation generations as well. Like,
On the trot.
Yeah, it's just like, where's the PlayStation 5 remake? Come on now.
Did any other games do that?
No, well, I don't think anything's done 3 in a... I don't think anything has done 3 in a row.
Ooh, internet, find out.
Yeah, no, that is cool, actually. Yeah, I never saw that as any factoids when I was researching, but certainly...
Doom or something, surely, right?
Well,
actually, was there a PS2 version of Doom? I guess would be the question.
Yeah, I don't know, really, because
Go on, get to it, internet.
Anyway,
you tell us.
Yeah, so, this game... really set its stall out very well, especially the PlayStation 4 version, which, like I said, I'm not going to keep on going, the PlayStation 4 version was this, but in that sense that it's possibly the most graphically detailed game I've ever seen just open up on a loading screen, basically. I was, blown away by the brickwork on a broken tower. So, thank you very much for bequeathing your old PlayStation 4 to me. That was chugging away playing this game.
That's not a surprise.
It was sat just behind me, and even without a game disc, this is played off the PlayStation Network. It was having a hard time.
That fan going nuts,
generating something. So you could see that the PlayStation was really sweating beads to try and get this game out. And 7 years old now, but you cannot see the creases on this game for being 7 years old. It's incredible. But also, I should expect that from a company that mostly just does remasters and remakes. I feel like I should just go, that if you're going to do something, the general plot for Shadow of the Colossus, the general drive of the game. I'm gonna speak out from my notes exactly what I put here, because this will piss a lot of people off the way that I've written this. But this is what I felt. It's not meant to really anger people, but I just put: dude called Wanda has come to Forbidden Lands to find a way to bring a dead chick back to life. He has a magic lightsaber that impresses some dormant god dudes, so they ask Wanda to kill all the Colossi in exchange. The price will be heavy, obviously. That was pretty. And that's what I felt about it.
You never wrote many book reports, did you, when you were a kid?
I did too. They just weren't very good. So that is genuinely, as I was kind of getting into it's difficult.
You're not wrong.
It's difficult to write notes when you're playing a video game and also thinking how can I write something so poetic and wonderful about something that is an absolutely beautiful story? I'll just demake it into my own words.
But that's the thing, isn't it? I think that is probably the point of the game. Because it is one of those stories that the way it's put together and the way it's told, could you have done it the same way in any other medium?
Yeah.
And I think that is where a lot of people get that emotional attachment to it. Just to go back to your point earlier.
So we will come back, loop all the way around to my emotional attachment, or whatever my emotions are about the game. So I carry on with some great stuff. Your magic lightsaber helps guide the way to each Colossi. So most of them reside in a remote area of the map. I'd say that it feels like half the game is you getting to the Colossi with your horse aggro. I really wish during the remake that they would have thought that... I don't think it would have been stomping all over the ground of the original game if they could have made Wanda say the name aggro in a different inflection. Aggro! Aggro! It's just constant. I'm just he stood right beside you, but you're whistling for it. Aggro! And it's just oh God, just, can we have something a bit different? Can we just shake it up a little bit? It's just no, to real, true to life remake, we have to have that one, we're going to put a little bit of voice work in. That kind of annoyed me a little bit. But yeah, so you basically, there's a little bit of what I describe as a bit of Prince of Persia sort of platforming, if you will, around the world. You ride aggro on horseback. Sorry,
you ride your horse on the back of another horse.
So you ride on horseback on aggro to the battle area, if you will, where the Colossus resides. There's a little bit of sort of exploration. You've got to find your way. Sometimes, there's a few clues that come from the Dormin god dude, who might say, "Oh, they live behind this giant, mighty mountain," again in much finer terms than I'm describing. When you find the Colossus, it's your job, bit set upon you by these Dormin gods, to effectively scale and puzzle your way around the Colossus to find a sigil. Thank you. I knew that word. Why did it suddenly?
I have no idea.
I struggled big time. Sigil, obviously, and you have to find the sigil on the Colossus, and there usually is more than one point on these colossi that you have to be able to strike. Whilst these giant bastards are trying to rag you off their back, you're holding on to fur/reeds/ random bits of environmental sort of entanglements that are attached to these huge kind of animals / rock formations / everything. These incredible creatures that are put together with real love and care, and they look just essentially the best thing you'll see in a video game, and you will be in awe of how they look. It is the most cinematic video game I've ever seen or ever experienced, I feel. That might be Red Dead Redemption 2 to some people. It might be something else. To me, this feels like I was watching, even though it was just on my sort of 15-inch telly or whatever it is, that felt like I had like an IMAX in front of me, and it was just beautiful to behold. Really, it's stunning to sort of blast along these barren plains on Agro's back, just heading towards these Colossus, and you'll enter. Sometimes, for example, you might enter through a really sort of a really thin crevasse, and it'll open out into this open plain, and then a colossi will just swoop above you. Like, I think it's the fifth boss, I think it is, who just swoops above you, and the scene and the way they make that happen is just stunning. Like, it is absolutely mind blowing. You just kind of think that how well someone's thought about this to put this together to make this into the brings that emotional heft. That is it's incredible. But sorry, coming a mile off. It's a bit like fine art for me, and I'm not a fine art person. This is such a conflicting game for me. Is it a game? Is it a game? This is where the scoring is going to be hard for you. Is it a game for me? So the puzzles, they kind of vary from pure brilliance, I would say, in terms of what you need to think about whilst you are avoiding being crushed by this giant Colossus, who kind of care about you being there, kind of don't. They get a bit angry sometimes. Like, the mechanics of climbing up upon a Colossus usually rely on them being annoyed enough for you to be a nuisance to them, but sometimes it's like they just don't give a shit that you're there, and you're like, hit me, look at me, do something. And they're just wandering around aimlessly, and I'm like, how many minutes of this game am I wasting by this Colossus? The AI not realizing I'm here for the boss rush game that I am here to do. The boss seems completely uncommittal to the situation. I wanted them to be a bit more, noticing of me, to care more about me being there. You're looking at me squinting.
Why am I so worried that you've completely missed the point of this game?
I'm aware that I mean nothing to them. I'm aware of that. I get that. I understand that. I'll come back to that, okay?
Right,
I will come back to the bits that I let me say it now. I understand the tone. I understand the themes. I understand the environmentalism. I get that. And that's what kind of annoyed me a little bit, that I was just like, I understand the whole point of that.
But you got it in the first hour.
But I'm playing a video game, and I need it to interact with me more. I mean, like, this is why it's so conflicting to me, because I totally understand that it's like, the idea is that I I am here in this world, and I am destroying this world. And I am man, and that is in, and I'm wrecking the environment. And actually, you are meaning this, and the world means everything, and stuff. And it's probably just because I'm cynical, and just who I am as a person. I'm a bad person. I am a bad person, and it just like it's like I understand all that, and then I just go blah, fucking blah, like just crack on with the boss fight I'm here to do, all right? I need to be in bed in 45 minutes. You're just rolling around, not doing much. You just strike me with your giant fucking sword or club already, so I can roll out the way really quite difficult, in a difficult sort of janky way. For a game that's been made 3 times over. I knew this would happen. I knew this would spill out. I didn't mean it to. I was trying to be really balanced. Anyway.
No, I could sense you were leaning. Right, prod.
So, for example, the ninth Colossi is a big crab thing that you have to engineer to flip over on its back over some hot springs. Sorry, # spoilers. That is in, but I just don't feel that's necessary spoiler. The way that you have to do that, I don't think that the enemy AI seems to work well enough to understand that that's what you eventually have to do. Trying to get it to turn around. Aggro is really difficult to fucking control. This horse is he's drunk. He's drunk and also a plate of jelly all at once, and you're trying to aggro. You're trying to get aggro to turn around, and so you have to do this boss at this Colossi. Sorry, I should be more respectful of them at pace, because if you don't, he fires fireballs at you, and that weird. And then the only way to be able to get him to flip over on his belly, to tickle his belly, is that he has to stand over a hot spring. I wish you'd just turn the right fucking way around. I'm over here. No, I'm kind of pivoting, and it felt like it was just taking a long time for it to recognise where I was around the map, and I didn't feel like I was like, what, and it was a very specific feeling with that one, but also some of the Colossi that I thought I was like, some of them are really kind of on it, and some of them that you're like, great, this is a genuinely sublime, wonderful feeling of fighting this battle. The 7th Colossi, the one that dips underwater, the sense of dread and feeling, what that taps into inside me is my ultimate fear of dark water and something coming up and coming at me. Why does it not know I'm there? It just kind of eventually goes its eyes. So I guess the way it tells you that the Colossi is going to do its thing, which basically is what it wants to do before you can grab onto it at a certain time, is its eyes. Do they turn red? I think they turn red, don't they? Do they turn from gold to red? Anyway, I'm there swimming around this lake, and I'm like, the sense of adventure, the sense of fear, the sense of dread, the sense of this cool, massive, giant thing below me. When's it going to notice me? What do I need to do? How do I get this incredible creature to care about me enough to come at me? And then you work out, and eventually it does. And you're like, brilliant. And then you're like, right, I grabbed its tail. Oh my god, I know what I'm doing. And then you dip it underwater, and you hold on for dear life, and there's a sense of urgency because you've got to keep hold of them in a certain way, and I don't want Wanda to drown, even though he's a dick. And and then I'm there stabbing its sigil, and it's slowly losing health, and I get to the last stab, and then I get shook off, and my teeth. My actual human teeth are there grinding away. They're grinding away. And it just made me so angry. It made me so angry in so many places. I was furious. I was absolutely furious at this game at some points. That I genuinely, and I think I texted you, said I played a game and I've just thrown my controller across the room, and this was it. This was the game that I threw my Logitech G Cloud across the room. It's still fine. It still works. Again, I know there's people out there listening to this thinking, he's a fucking idiot, he's missing the point, it's meant to be a challenge, it's meant to be difficult, the only thing you have to do in the game is to defeat the Colossi. I just felt like there was, when you got into a lot of the fights, there could have been more mechanics, certainly, than you just having, right, I need to find the environmental thing that's going to tip them over, or, you know, set them up so I can actually do it. And then the only real buttons are jump up the fur and hang on for dear life. That isn't it. Just felt like there could have been more skill. Like, I felt there's a lot of levels of luck in that as well. That is in, you know, like how you gripped it and where you gripped it. There felt like there was a lot of cheap falls in this, more so than I wanted there to be for something where it's like, you know, the whole drive and crux of the game is you have to defeat these bosses. It just felt like sometimes I was just grabbing on for dear life, and I'm like, I feel like I've watched all of its movements. I know I need to shoot it in the foot, for example. It needs to tip over. I grab this ledge, brilliant. I climb up its back, and then it tries to shake me off, and I've got hold of it and stuff. And then all of a sudden, like, Wonder will just do this weird, whoa, whoa, and you're like, what's wrong with you? That is, you've just done all these incredible things. That is in where you've flipped off this giant fucking bastard, and you've climbed up him, and you've done all these incredible feats of valor and bravery and skill, and then you just kind of starting to wander around on his back, you know, no pun intended, and you can't hold on anymore. I don't get. It's just like, you know, it just felt like this divine piece of art was kind of just had these moments of messy gameplay, and the messy gameplay made me really angry. So yeah, I don't know, like, it was amazing. It was this game. The word epic is reserved only for this game. It really is. It just pissed me off royally in a lot of moments. Yeah, so like I said, I do get, like, the themes of loss, sacrifice, emptiness, loneliness, destruction, the cost of love. I get it. I wasn't as bowled over with it as I sense that other people are. I didn't find it life-changing like other people did. Those themes, and like I think it's probably just because I'm just quite cynical, and I've probably just been numbed to a noisy world as well. Like, as in, so like I'm not good at meditating. I don't find a barren, beautiful land as exciting to me as, not necessarily, like, you know, like Funko Pop craziness and stuff, but I love, like, the idea of Tokyo at night more so than I do just wandering out into an empty sort of an aerodrome of these incredible mountains and things. They look beautiful, they're amazing and stuff, but I like it when there's a lot going on, and I almost feel like how amazing the environment is in this game and stuff, and a complete juxtaposition of what I always feel, all my gut feelings are, is that probably could have done with a couple more quests. Like, probably could have done with a little bit more grind. Like, you know, if my grip meter needs to be better for next time, for fighting the next Colossi, I would like to know how I improve that. I would like to know what the skill level needs to be. So yeah, I don't know. Like, so I actually didn't even end up finishing the game. I did the first 13 out of 16 Colossi, and I just got to a point where I was like, if it had been 10, I'd have done it. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. But it just got to the point where I can't remember the one that everybody says is absolutely incredible. It's a flying one, and I did that one, and the sense of awe doing that one was too much for me to bear. And I was like, God, if this is the third last one, I was like, what are the next three like looking like? Do you know, what's in store? How much more feeling inside me can I feel about this game? Whether it is, you know, like anger, or whether it is love for how good it looks, and how incredible it feels to be in. So I actually watched the last three, and just to give a credit to somebody called Skeptic Jack's Eye on YouTube, who does call this game his favourite game ever, and how much, and he went into depth about how much he loved this game and why he loves it and how many times he's completed it, etc. And I genuinely got so much more enjoyment hearing him describe his feelings towards this game than my own me playing it. And that's kind of, and I was like, so therefore it's clearly it's not for me. That, you know, it's not been made for me. I've tried it. I understand what they're doing with it and how incredible it is and looks. It just hasn't hit the same tone for me as it has 90% of other people. That, like I said, I probably am a bad person. That is in it, but it is what it is. I can't do much about that, you know. I probably could do with being a bit more, you know, quiet and poignant and sort of chilled out and mellow. I understand that. Going back to that point about fine art, I appreciate that someone's made some fine art somewhere. I appreciate people put the time in to do it. I'm not that fussed.
Okay, there's a lot to unpack.
You could ask questions, or you could just make judgments.
Oh, I'm making judgments. I've Googled this to check because I could dimly recall something, and I wanted to check before I asked you the question in case I was about to really put my foot in it. When you were playing this, did you find any lizards?
I noticed lizards, yes.
Right.
And you kind of have to catch the lizards or kill the lizards, I think, don't you? Yeah.
Yeah. And that's the kind of way that you can improve your stamina outside of beating bosses and things like that. The point being that, like, when I was playing it through, I don't remember ending up being as frustrated as you clearly got. Yes, the movement and some of the mechanics are clearly rooted in PS2 era stuff. Like, of course it is. But I think I ended up like checking a couple of guides quickly and stuff like that because there were a couple of times where, like, I didn't necessarily get frustrated as you, but I was increasingly getting the feeling of like I am missing something here. Like it's more like a puzzle game, and I'm just missing that little trick. And as soon as I started playing it like a puzzle game rather than like a proto Dark Souls, it clicked.
Okay.
And I think that was an important step, was to look at it and go, oh, right, like that's how it wants me to play it.
Yeah.
Because I think approaching it like an action game, and like you say, waiting for the boss to react to you being there and you having some agency in this world and it acknowledging your presence, is, for me, that kind of action game mindset. Whereas the version where it's like, well, it doesn't care if you're there or not. It's just going about its business. You have to work around it. That's where you start to play it like a puzzle game.
Yeah.
And I think that's, for me, that's the crux.
I got more out of it when I was braver, when I was traversing on the Colossi as well. That is in, so when I took more chances to be like, this is a moment where I can run on their back. Yeah. You know, that is in, so... yeah, I don't want to... I'm not trying... Not be like, I reserve my right to think that this is... But do you know what I mean? Like, as in, I think I still... I think I understood that it was a certainly because that's how it's described as well by a lot of people before I even started playing it. It is a puzzle game. Whatever. No, I think you make a really good point, and I
all right.
And that's the thing as well. Like, as in, I like to rush into things and try and get things done. As we discussed on the Doom podcast previously, like, you know, if I could have just fucking glory killed one of these bad boys with a shotgun, and I felt a hell of a lot better about myself when I went to bed that night.
But this is the thing, though, isn't it? Because, like, as an illustration of how we're coming at this differently, right? You know, I'm lucky enough to have just gone to Dublin. Most people would have gone to the Guinness Brewery. I spent a lot of time learning about a stained glass artist, and I had a lovely time. Harry Clark, you should look him up.
Okay.
And yeah, like, but that's the thing, isn't it? It's horses for courses, and it can be the same thing in this case. A hypothetical city that we're going to, and we'll do different things, right? So for me, like, this weirdly even more like lends itself to the video games as art type thing, because art is gonna create debate. It's gonna have differing views of it. It's gonna prompt differing thoughts and interpretations and things like that. It just happens that in this case, if it's a video game as well, one of those things could be frustration.
Yeah. Well, I never came in to the pod booth like wanting to be angry about it.
Get as annoyed as you did.
Yeah, no, but but it's in there. Do you know what I mean? And that's just
clearly.
Yeah, it's like so. But I know it's funny because I have a score in my head for the game that that still sits with what I think of the game, and seems to encompass all my feelings at once as well. Because I do genuinely, I can see how this can be the most important video game in somebody's life. I can see how this could be the best video game somebody's ever played and wanted to play it 30 times over. I can totally see that. Do you know what I mean? And that, like you say about, you can go to the same city together and see these things, but just have different guttural feelings about them.
Yeah.
And I do. And this isn't me trying to save face or say that I'm not stupid because I get it, but like, as in I do understand, like, as in what a lot of the themes of the game are. They just didn't hit that sort of the same tone with me as say it does with other people and things, and that's also like different times. I bet if I guarantee if I'd have played this back in 2005, I'd have thought this was the best video game I ever played and how important it was to me and stuff.
Yeah,
like, do you know what I mean? Like, as in and the age that I'm playing it at now, like, as in, I'm not like I'm not going, oh, this is tosh, or this is, it's far away from that. But that almost like it just doesn't affect me as much as necessarily it probably would have done when I was younger.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Oh, score then. So am I giving it your score?
Oh yeah. You would know.
As in
you're trying to guess. So the aim of the game is you've got
guessing the number in your head.
Yeah, from my review, what score I would give this game. That's what Free Play Fortnightly is all about.
I'm going to go 6.
Okay.
Out of 10.
I was giving it 8. I was giving it an 8. Yeah, an 8. I think a lot of people probably feel that this is like a 9 or a 10 out of 10.
Right.
I think it's an 8.
In spite of your frustrations.
Oh, I'm fucking angry about it. Like, as in, like, as in, but like, there's so, and this is, and I want you to know that, like, I totally get why you say that I would go with 6, which it could have easily just been like that. But like, as in, again, I can be really, really upset about some of the things that I was feeling about it, but I can respect the shit out of it and think about how incredible it looks as well. I feel
the best game that you despise.
Yeah. No, but see, that's the thing. It's probably a bit strong. I don't despise it, but I don't throw my controller very often or ever. That might be the first time and when I say throw, I mean I kind of cast it aside because I don't want to break my Logitech, but at the same time, it was enough for me to just go, fuck off. I just throw it to the couch across the room, like, and just have that cathartic moment of, right, that's how you beat a Colossi. Just fucking petulantly throw my controller away and say, you can't make me do that, bitch. And I don't care if that makes me basic. No, I'm good about myself for in the moment.
You said it, not me.
Yeah, respectfully, an 8.
So I mean, what I'm putting it on the spreadsheet as a 6 because it's what I said.
Exactly. You do have to put it as a 6. Yes. Yeah.
I mean,
I'm kind of happy about it.
Well, this is the thing, though, right? Because, like, I think your frustrations are valid, right? Of course they are, because your time is a precious, dwindling commodity, and if it was winding you up, it was winding you up. Like, but as with all good art, it made you feel something.
Well, that's it, exactly, and that's probably why I've then put the score where it was, because I was like, like I said, I didn't even finish it. I got to like within 3 Colossi finishing it and stuff, and when I looked at is it one of the last ones where it's like the small, like little lion ones that you've got to do like a bit of platforming across different columns that are falling and stuff? And I was like, fuck, I'm glad I'm watching this guy do this, because that'd have been me. Like, as in, I'd just be like, no, no, thank you. Even though the idea of it, the idea of actually. The actions of doing it, look, when someone else is just doing it on the screen, like, oh yeah, brilliant, piss that. Do you know what I mean? Like, listen, like, yeah, I could do it, maybe, but yeah, I just, you're right. It made me feel something, and I don't mind that at all. Don't mind that at all.
Nice.
What did you feel this week?
Shall we? Yeah, I was going to say, shall we go for something that made me feel nothing?
yeah, that's fine. That might make it difficult for me to score.
Nothing. Sword of Sodan, on the Mega Drive, 1990. So I played this on the Evercade, so it was emulated and all that. It's got a bit of a reputation for being rubbish.
You said that so decadently there.
It's going to be one rubbish. Of the few sources of joy for the next couple of minutes.
Nice.
Well, I mean, I didn't even get angry about it. Like, it looks all right? It's got some big sprites, kind of almost like, the sort of the art style you would get on a Neo Geo or something like that. Mm-hmm. It's like someone saw that and was like, I bet we could do that on a Mega Drive.
Yeah.
And they gave it a pretty good go. And it's clearly like inspired by Conan the Barbarian and Red Sonja and all that. And I mean, it's just going to have to get in line, right? There were a lot of other things were. Yeah. So I mean, the easy one on the Mega Drive would be Golden Axe as the kind of obvious thing. But the trick with Golden Axe was that it had a bit of charm to it and a bit of immediacy, and it was actually a game. This one,
it's actually, oh god,
this one's just so ponderous and clumsy, and your massive character shuffles along, literally shuffles along. So painfully slowly, and you get kind of beset by enemies that take forever to die. And that, when the combat is basically just like prodding with a sword, like and just repeat, like not even swinging it. I can't emphasize enough, like prodding, like just. Not even like a kind of fencing jab, like just standing stock still and just like casually.
I've never seen this game before, but I'm super excited about it. I'm looking it up now.
It's like the kind of motion that you would make when you're trying to wake someone up who's asleep from like a bit of a distance, and you've got a broom handy. Like it's and it just has no like impact. There's no real music to speak of. And enemies just seem to keep respawning. And I mean, it was annoying. Like the thing that came to mind weirdly was like the early Call of Duty games where you just get stuck in those bits where there'd be like one cupboard where all the enemies like a clown car.
Well, there's so many Nazis in this cupboard.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh, is this where we're keeping them now? Yeah. Well, why don't we just bomb this? And it's like that. And you just keep shuffling right, and eventually the level ends. And you're that little closer to the sweet embrace of the abyss. The
shuffle right until
the enemies are spongy.
Well, maybe if you just constantly soften them up with a broom.
Oh my days! And like you get to the stage where like spears will come up from the floor, but there's not really like much you can do to avoid them because you are so slow and ponderous and all that, and it is just, it's awful.
Yeah,
it's
excellent.
So bad.
Well, you did feel something. You are feeling it right now.
No, well, it did spur me
Bereft.
on. Bereft is probably a good word, actually. More importantly, like 1985 Red Sonja the movie, go watch that.
Oh yeah, I've heard good things.
Much better, like critically panned, but like I think my wife said it was a better D&D movie than the D&D movie.
Yeah,
going with the right attitude, like way better. So good. Highly recommended. Go watch Red Sonja. Sack off Sword of Sodan.
Sodan.
Yeah, just don't bother. It's really not good.
Okay. So, do you own this?
Oh yeah,
it's on the
Evercade. Yeah. So like I've got the cartridge that it's on. Yeah. Thankfully, there are plenty of other games on the cartridge that are not this. So that's good.
So am I allowed to ask questions that might help facilitate the scoring of this?
You're more than welcome to, but I mean, Red Sonja is campy, it's ridiculous, it's inclusive, it's everything. I would much rather talk about the Red Sonja movie than this
Should we
game.
just score the Red Sonja movie instead? It'd be easier and much nicer. Yeah, okay. Yeah. There's not a lot to go off there, and that's not on you.
Well, I mean, it sort of is, because I played it for like 10 minutes. So
yeah,
what?
Yeah, but that's all it was worth to you.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, because, I mean, this is on a cartridge of however many games anyway, and I value my time. And it was one of those things that you start playing it, you're just like, I genuinely don't think I'm going to get much past the second level on this. Like, I could genuinely struggle to get through it. Like, I think you've got items and stuff like that you can use.
Yeah.
I would not be able to tell you what they do. Like, again, to go back to the kind of Golden Axe thing, it's very clear. You get items, you build up a bit of magic, unleash hell. On this, you get an item and,
So you just bought some stamps for the shop. You're like, oh.
I mean, but it probably does something, right? But like, compared to the kind of immediacy and the kind of easy to grasp and read the situation end of the scale versus this, where you're just like, well, is it worth it?
So is this like universally panned critically? That is in there, and that is. I'm not trying to fudge my way to a score here, but is it like genuinely? Is there nobody out there that would have enjoyed this?
I could
what
imagine.
I'm thinking is it my game? Am I, instead of Shadow of Colossus, I'm a Sword of Sodan?
So
man, stand for the Sword of Sodan.
Okay, so a quick Google, and I think because it's like there was a version on the Amiga which looks as though it has kind of more, and this is a very quick, very crude look, would arguably look as though it's got kind of middling reviews.
Okay.
And is the better received version. This, like the Mega Drive version, is, I think there are plus points to the art and the kind of level of detail they got in it. I do not think there is much beyond that.
Okay.
And according to, sorry, I'm on Sega Retro, just having a quick scroll. And apparently it was significantly altered during its transition to the Mega Drive. So, I mean, oh yeah, hey, the potions do things. Who knew?
Wait a minute. It's the best game I've ever made, I've heard now.
Well, what was it? Okay, right. So Sega Retro has this, which I don't think is going to alter your view from what I've said too radically. So I'm just going to read it verbatim.
I need to go of your review, so it's fine. It doesn't matter.
So originally an Amiga game, Sword of Sodan, it's an A, it's my poor handwriting that tripped me up there, is most notable for being one of the poorest received Mega Drive games ever released. And was consistently voted the system's single worst game.
Wow!
By readers of Beep Mega Drive magazine. It's
so we're in the ballpark. We're in the ball.
I mean, I think the worst thing for me, right, and the bit that is, I would argue, telling, is that normally this is about the time in the review where I would sit here and pick up on a positive and be like, okay, well, I could see why somebody would like this, or I could appreciate why somebody could like that bit. As I sit here right now, I'm genuinely struggling to come up with something and anything about it. And the last time I was sitting here like this was Carmageddon 64, and I ended up reading the N64 magazine review. That's the level we're talking.
Yeah, well, that's where I was kind of heading with this, really. And I was just trying to get to, is it a 0? Is there a 1? Is there a 1? It doesn't sound like there's a 1. I think we might have had our first 0 out of 10 game of the year.
I think there would be a strong case for it.
I do love a good 0 out of 10 game when we have them on our podcast. Like, something that is irredeemable.
Yeah, I mean,
something to be said for it, I guess, really. or not. I mean, there's nothing to be said for it. There's nothing to be said for it.
Genuinely, in the interests of trying to give it a fair shot, right, I will show you a couple of screenshots. Right, this is.
Will this get it 1 mark?
This is how much we are scraping the barrel here.
What else have we got down there at the moment?
Hang on.
Oh no, we've got Fantavision at 1. 1 out of 10.
Yeah, Fantavision's on 1. How did you remember that? Yeah, Fantavision's on 1. We've got Chase the Express on 2.
Oh yeah, okay. Don't worry about the screenshots if we can't find them. No,
it's all right. We've got
we've got time for me to look at the images for people to listen to.
I mean, just trying to find one that's going to size properly so that you can see it.
Just struggling with the internet right now.
Oh, it's not how. Right. Okay. Right. This is a pretty indicative screenshot from what looks to my eye like level 1. So that's your character.
Oh yeah.
In a face-off with a couple of enemies.
They're farming, right? They're farmers.
That's a good question. I don't think they're farmers.
They're farming.
Well, I mean,
what is that sword movement about? That it's like down by her ankles. That is in.
I mean, that's probably what counts as a sword swipe.
Yeah.
Type thing on this. I mean, here's your barbarian dude. He's looking pretty buff.
Oh, they all look the same, don't they, barbarians?
Terrible posture.
Yeah. He looks like you get like a villain out of something like Robin Hood Men in Tights or something like that. Maybe with that kind of bad posture. Doesn't look like a hero of the piece. Certainly.
No, he really doesn't, does he?
Yeah, no. 0 out of 10.
Yeah,
is what that game is getting.
Well, you heard it, internet. I tried.
Yeah, no, I mean. I'm just thinking Fantavision had way more about it, and that only got 1. So I couldn't give it anything better than that, really. To score 0 marks, it's like you weren't even made.
In all seriousness,
someone took some time to make that, and it may as well not exist.
But it's an interesting thought experiment, though, isn't it? Because if that game didn't exist, would it make a difference to this timeline? I'm not sure it would.
This timeline, I just think what really pleases me now is that game that may as well not exist is only 6 points behind Shadow of the Colossus.
So tight margins. Tight margins.
There's only 10 numbers to pick from in the world of game reviews. No one knew.
Well,
no one knew how hard it would be. So I think we might have to. How many mulligans have we got then?
Yeah.
Depending on how evil the internet is going to be to me. How do I put this in the subreddit?
Hello, subreddit. Please kick the shit out of me.
Maybe you can
whatever. You're on your own.
Maybe you can find one that's really ambivalent to the game. Like, is it the Shadow of the Colossus ambivalence subreddit might
be. Maybe. I think that's optimistic, though.
I could post this one in the Sword of Sodan one and just sort of see, if there isn't one, I should start it. I should start that and be like, this is where you come to bash Sword of Sodan and Shadow of the Colossus.
Oh.
But you have to do both. You can't can't
no one or the other.
No. Right, anyway, on that note, thanks for listening, guys.
Cheers.